I want to start this by saying it's a very good thing that Diablo 3 is a game that has infinite replay value. And the reason for that is because I already have probably 100 hours in Diablo 3 on the PC, and I already have probably at least a dozen hours into Diablo 3 on the PS4. So why would I buy the Nintendo Switch version other than the fact that, oh my gosh, I can take it with me now? It's tough to say. But I ended up getting it for my birthday, and I've been having an absolute blast with it. And I think the reason why the Switch is my preferred place to play it is because that's where I have lots and lots of friends. And Diablo, at its heart, is a multiplayer experience. It's not a multiplayer first experience. You can certainly play through the game completely solo, having never played with anybody else, and it would still be really, really fun. But playing it online with your friends is also really fun. So while I prefer to play on the Switch, it's pretty much the same game as it is everywhere else. So if you already own it, there's really no reason to pick it up unless you only own it on PC, because I think that the controls for Diablo are so good that it is the definitive experience to play it with a controller as opposed to a mouse and keyboard. And I know there's a lot of mouse and keyboard jockeys out there who will be upset or angry that I've said such a travesty, but that's just how I feel. And, you know, it's just my experience. Diablo 3 is the same as it is everywhere else. It's got the same dark atmosphere. It's got the same random dungeons. It's got the same huge boss fights, and it's got the same sprawling worlds with hundreds of characters for you to meet and kill. The graphics on the Switch are pretty good. They're a little blurry, but when you're looking at a game that originally came out in 2012, that's to be expected, although they are blurrier than they are on the PS4 and Xbox One. When you're playing, that blur just kind of fades away, and unless you're looking at them side by side, I don't think people would really notice. I'm sure that there's going to be people who will say, oh, I can tell, definitely. Well, I can't. And unless I'm looking at them side by side, it's really hard to tell. The Switch exclusives for this are forgettable, and I really don't care about the Ganon costume or the Amiibo portal. I tried out the Amiibo portal. It summoned a monster, and that's cool, but meh, who cares? Like I said, at its heart, Diablo 3 is an online game, so I want to talk about the online experience with the Nintendo Switch, well, actually with the game in general, and why it's so awesome. First off, it's got this drop-in, drop-out mechanic, whereas if I see one of my friends is playing, I can just hit a button, join their game, go to the main town, find their flag, click on their flag, and it teleports me right to them, and now we are playing together. The game will automatically adjust its difficulty based on the fact that now there's multiple players, and if I decide, well, I gotta go do something, time to record the podcast, fine. I drop back out, the game adjusts its difficulty on the fly, and the friend that I was playing with goes on about their day. It's really, really cool, and people, while I've been playing this, people have been dropping into my games multiple times, and it's really fun when they do. There's some really cool catch-up mechanics that are awesome as well. And actually, you could use this to level really, really fast. So basically, the way that the game works is that Blizzard understands that not everybody has the same amount of free time. And so when you look and there's somebody who's level 40 and you're level 1, you can join their game. And it will make you powerful enough so that when you attack, your attacks will still be useful in the fight. But you'll still level up your character the same way and unlock abilities. Like, it doesn't automatically unlock abilities for you, which is good because that would be overwhelming having all of these things to choose from at the very beginning. But you'll level really, really fast because the other character or the other player that you're playing with is so far ahead of you. They boost your XP, so you level really, really quickly, and eventually you'll catch up to the player that you're playing with. I mean, it won't happen in one session probably, but it will happen really fast. And then maybe they have to go on vacation for a week or something, and they don't have a chance to play Diablo, and you just kept playing. Well, when they come back, if they join you, now they're getting XP faster, so they can level up. And for a game that is all about the grind, for a game that is about doing the same thing over and over, even making seasonal characters where you start from scratch and you build them up all over again, being able to join with a friend who's playing a new character and boost them up and have them catch up to you is really, really awesome. Something that's not awesome is that Blizzard did not insert any way to communicate in the game at all that I can find. I could be wrong about this, but I couldn't find any way to communicate with somebody. I would assume that we would just use Nintendo's voice through our phones, but that doesn't seem to be an option. I joined a game with my friend Richard, and I opened up my phone, opened up the Nintendo Switch Online app to see if I could connect, and we could talk through that, and we could not. So if you want to play this game and you want to use voice chat to talk to your friends, well, then you're going to have to go a third-party service like Discord or something like that, or maybe just call them on your phone, which I think it's foolish that Blizzard didn't use or build in voice chat or even use Nintendo's built-in voice. I know that most people will just ignore Nintendo's voice chat because it has the requirement of a external device, but it would have been nice if Blizzard at least supported it for the people who wanted to use it. At a bare minimum, you would think that Blizzard would have included like a wheel of emotes so I could easily communicate with somebody, hey, I have to go back to town, or hold on, let me look at my skills. Because even when playing multiplayer, Diablo 3 still kind of allows you to play in a single player fashion. So I was playing earlier today, and I was just going through the story again because I want to unlock all the story stuff. And so I was going through the story again, and somebody dropped into my game, and I was playing, and I decided, oh, my bags are full, and I just left, went to town, sold all my stuff. They continued doing whatever it is that they were doing. After I was done selling my stuff, I just went over to their flag, teleported to them, and we continued to kill demons in a way that was really, really fun. So it's fine that you can just take off and leave the other person behind, but it'd be nice if you could tell them. And not having any way to communicate is kind of lame. Another feature that is awesome that I really like in this, that is kind of multiplayer and not really, is the Nemesis system. This is a very, very cool thing that that Blizzard added to the game, where if you're playing and some monster kills you, that monster levels up, and then they'll step through a portal and they'll look for somebody on your friends list, and they'll go and try and kill them. And if they kill that person, then the Nemesis will level up. It will keep doing this until somebody ends up killing the monster. And if somebody kills that monster will then drop loot for somebody on your friends list it killed. And I think that this is such a cool mechanic when you're playing through the game and this portal opens up and something steps through, and you the first time you hit it, it pops up who it's killed before. That's really awesome. And that happens in single player games, it happens in multiplayer games, and it's this little tiny feature that I just think is so exciting when you see that portal open up. Overall, I think Diablo 3 for the Nintendo Switch is a must-buy with qualifiers. If you've never played Diablo 3, you absolutely must buy this game. It's so fun. However, I will say this. If you don't like grindy games, then you might want to avoid it. Diablo 3 is very, very grindy. Myself, I generally don't like grindy games, but Diablo 3 seems to be the exception to the rule for me. If you've played Diablo 3 on the PC and you've never played it on console, then I think that it's definitely something you want to consider picking up. I think the console version of Diablo 3 is infinitely better than the PC version of Diablo 3, but that's just me. I think the controls, like Blizzard just nailed the controls on Diablo 3. Now, if you've played Diablo 3 on other consoles, here's where you might want to hold off before you pick it up for the Nintendo Switch. For me, if I didn't have like a whole bunch, I mean, I'm a Nintendo podcaster, so I've got a lot of people who have added me as friends on the Nintendo Switch. And so that means it's a much better experience for me to play on the Switch than it is for anyone else. Or than it is for me to play anywhere else, is what I meant to say. So that's why I like playing Diablo 3 on the Switch as opposed to playing it on the PS4, where admittedly it does look better. If you're somebody who's played it on the consoles before and you want to be able to play that grind when you're out and about, then the Nintendo Switch is definitely for you. But if you're somebody who owns a Nintendo Switch and never takes it out of the dock and don't plan on taking it out of the dock, and you've got other consoles to play Diablo 3 on, then you're probably fine playing it on those other consoles. Like I said at the beginning, Diablo 3 for the Nintendo Switch is the same Diablo that is on other consoles, and that's an extremely good thing, but it's also a bad thing. So your mileage may vary. Anyway, let me know what you think of Diablo 3 on the Nintendo Switch down below.